This ball is crushed.
You're listening to the New York Yankees Recaps Podcast, where we're talking New York Yankees baseball all season long. Recaps of big games, the best home run calls, trades, rumors, and what's happening down on the farm. Every game, all season long.
Now, I've never been very patient, and no one's ever accused me of being very patient. So this time of year, as we approach spring training, just a couple weeks out from pitchers and catchers reporting, I get really impatient. Start to really get that baseball itch. So I thought I would hop on here and talk a little baseball. I'm going to talk about the Mookie Betts trade that is supposed to happen to Los Angeles here in the next couple of days. And I will talk about the careers of Phil Hughes, Joba Chamberlain, and Ian Kennedy. That's a little feature I did for YouTube. I will play that at the end of this podcast. And I'll talk about a few other things along the way. So let's get started. As I mentioned, there are rumors abound that Mookie Betts is nearing a trade to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So this is going to affect the Yankees in two different ways. One, it's going to weaken the Red Sox because Mookie Betts was an MVP just 2 years ago, and he had a 10.7 wins above replacement. This past year, in a down year, he had a 6.9 wins above replacement. This guy is legit. He's one of the best players in baseball, both defensively and offensively. He's got a ton of energy, and I think he's just going to be 26 this year. He actually turned down a 10-year, $300 million contract from the Red Sox. Can you imagine somebody slips you an envelope across the desk, you open it up, and on the contract, you look at the last page and it says 10 years, $300 million, and you tuck that contract back into the envelope and slide it back across the table? Can you even imagine? I can't. But, he's going to get more. Next year, he's going to be a free agent, and he's probably going to get $400 to $450 million. He might not top Trout, but he might. Who knows? So this would affect the Yankees by weakening the Red Sox. If the Red Sox make this move, presumably they're doing it to free up payroll space, but as part of the move, they're probably going to have to also trade the contract of David Price. That's been their price, is that the team that's trading for Mookie Betts not only has to give you some good prospects, but also has to eat the contract of David Price. So that hurts the Yankees right there because David Price is basically the Yankees' whipping boy. They destroy David Price. Always have. Sure, he'll beat him once a year maybe, but the Yankees will knock his teeth in the other 3 or 4 times. Gary Sanchez especially just kills David Price. So David Price is begging to get out of Boston. This trade, though, makes the Yankees' cakewalk to the World Series next year a lot tougher. I shouldn't say it's a cakewalk. They should win next year. They have the best team in baseball. With the addition of Garrett Cole and a healthy Luis Severino, they've got the best pitching in baseball. They've got the best offense. 306 home runs last year, and they didn't even have Giancarlo Stanton for most of the year. So the Yankees are going to be trouble next year. But the Dodgers could get in the way if they have Mookie Betts. So next, I want to talk about Jasson Dominguez. He is the Yankees' number 1 ranked international prospect, and he's being compared to Mike Trout, a teenage Mike Trout. Jasson Dominguez was named after Jason Giambi. He's nicknamed the Martian, and his name, Jasson, is spelled with 2 S's, which is unusual. I've never seen it spelled with 2 S's before, but Dominguez is a 16-year-old. He's 5'10", 190 pounds, switch hitter, outfielder from the Dominican Republic, and his scouting report is exemplary. Now, just to understand how good scouts think this kid is going to be, let me explain first the scouting rating system. This is known as the 20 to 80 scale. 20 to 30 is basically most of you, well below average. The good news is that that's a major league scale, so even if you're rated a 20, you're still as good as the worst rated Major League Baseball player, at least rating-wise. 40 is considered below average. Think somebody like Steven Drew. 50 would be average. 60 would be above average. This would be a good player. And then 70 to 80 would be all-star towards maxing out the scale. So think Mike Trout would be an 80. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, those would be 80s. Scouts rank prospects, not only overall from 20 to 80, but they rank their individual tools. So somebody might have an 80 curveball, or a 40 fastball, or a 60 base running speed, or 55 power. So why is it 20 to 80? Well, 20 plus 80 equals 100. Divided by 2, and you get 50, or the mean. That's an average player. Same as on a 20 to 80 scale. But they cut off those early percentages and those last percentages because that's kind of deviating outside of the range of normal. Those are the outliers. So there might be 2 or 3 guys that are that bad or that good. You know, a Babe Ruth or a whatever. So they lump everybody from basically scrub to superstar. But, like I said, if you're the worst player on earth, you're rated a 20, same as the worst Major League Baseball player. So Jasson Dominguez had his ratings, his scout grades, released by Baseball America, and they're absurd. His hit rating was 60, which is above average, as a 16-year-old. His power is 70, which is well above average. Again, just 16 years old. His running grade was 70. His fielding grade was 60, and his arm was 60. He rated at average for a Major League Baseball player in every category at the age of 16, where he would be I think a junior in high school in America. Unreal. And he's already an above average hitter for power and running. Sky is the limit for this kid. People are comparing him to Mike Trout. They're saying Mickey Mantle. They're saying Bo Jackson. They're saying Willie Mays. That's the names that he's being compared to. Ken Griffey Jr. He's got that kind of talent. Let's just hope that he can stay healthy, keep his head on straight. I know those of us that lived through the Brian Taylor era, or non-era, can say we've heard this song and dance before about prospects being rated so-and-so. You got to do it. They're a prospect. You got to do it to be a legit player. Until then, prospect is just that. You could be great. Brian Taylor, in case you didn't know, was the Yankees' number 1 pick in either 1990 or 91. I think it was 91. But he got into a barroom fight and tore his labrum. There's a great article about it in an old Sports Illustrated. You could find it by just Googling it. But Brian Taylor tore his labrum, and he was never the same. He had a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and a curveball that would just drop out of the sky. There's old footage of him. It's just insane, the talent this guy had. He was Randy Johnson, basically. And he never made it. He was wild to start with. But once he came back, he was very wild, and he had lost the zip. So he had some of the worst numbers I've ever seen when he came back from injury. It was probably 93, 94, and he was posting like an 18.75 ERA. Just absurd numbers. So let Brian Taylor be your cautionary tale about Jasson Dominguez. So, I told you that I would play another feature for you. This is going to be a little different than what I usually do on this podcast. It's got some music to it. It's the story of Phil Hughes, Joba Chamberlain, and Ian Kennedy, the trio of right-handed pitchers that came up with the Yankees in 2007. They were expected in 2008 to be a huge part of the rotation, and they all kind of, And so that's one of the big reasons the Yankees didn't make the postseason in 2008. But this is kind of the story of what happened in their careers and how it turned out. Now, keep in mind, you can see this on YouTube by just searching Phil, Joba, and Ian. That's the name of this short little documentary I put together. So, without further ado, enjoy.
The New York Yankees Recaps Podcast.
Over the past 2.5 decades, the Yankees have not developed a ton of high-end starting pitching. Andy Pettitte comes to mind. Chien-Ming Wang for a while comes to mind. Luis Severino has got a shot. But there was a time when the Yankees were supposed to have a dynamite young rotation of homegrown stars. Their names? Phil Hughes, Joba Chamberlain, and Ian Kennedy. Over the next few minutes, I'll tell you about each of their respective careers and why it never quite worked out. Phil Hughes was the Yankees' first pick in the 2004 amateur draft, and he breezed through his first season in the minor leagues with a 2.19 ERA. In 2006, his second full year of professional baseball, he was 10-3 with a 2.25 ERA, and at this point he was starting to top the prospect charts. Entering 2007, he was ranked as the number 1 prospect in the Yankee system and number 4 overall. 2007 was another year when the Yankees had a rash of injuries early on, and Phil Hughes made his debut in April. He was just 20 years, 306 days old. In his second start, he nearly pitched a no-hitter against the Texas Rangers before exiting with a hamstring injury. As a Yankees fan, this was one of the most disappointing moments of my entire baseball watching life. When he came back, he pitched okay. He was 5-3 with a 4.46 ERA, and he picked up a crucial win in the American League Division Series against the Cleveland Indians in relief of Roger Clemens, who by that time was 87 years old.
My goodness gracious! Of all the dramatic things!
But that was perhaps the high mark of Phil Hughes' career. In 2008, Phil Hughes won a rotation spot, but ended up going 0-4 with a 6.62 ERA in 8 starts. In 2009, he was moved to the bullpen where he was dominant and helped the Yankees win a World Series. This was probably his best year as a Yankee. He was 8-3 with a 3.03 ERA and 96 strikeouts in 86 innings. In 2010, he won 18 games and had another near miss with a no-hitter against Oakland. But in 2011, he was 5-5 with a 5.79 ERA. He bounced back in 2012 and won 16 more games, going 16-13 in 32 starts with a 4.19 ERA. But in 2013, his age 27 season, in what should have been his prime, he was 4-14 with a 5.19 ERA. He allowed 24 home runs in just 145 innings. The following season, he moved on to Minnesota and had a very nice year. He finished out his career in 2018 with an 88-79 record and a 4.52 ERA. Phil Hughes now has a YouTube channel where he opens up packs of cards. Overall, Phil Hughes had a very nice career and a very nice Yankees career. I'm sure we'll be seeing Kevin Moss take him deep on Old Timers Day pretty soon. But check out his channel. It's addictive.
You're out!
Joba.
Rules.
Girl, you taught me how to hurt real bad and cry myself to sleep. Showed me how this town shattered dreams.
Joba Chamberlain electrified New York in the fall of 2007. But before that, he was drafted 41st overall in 2006 as a compensation pick for Tom Gordon, who had signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. With his exaggerated fist-pumping and 99-mile-an-hour fastball, Joba Chamberlain was exciting to fans, and they dreamed of an ace for years to come. However, in an effort to limit his innings, the Yankees moved him to the bullpen when he made his major league debut, and after pitching 24 innings to a 0.38 ERA, many fans and Yankees executives began to believe that the bullpen is where he belonged. And while there are many odd signature moments in baseball history, From balls bouncing off of heads for home runs and fastballs vaporizing pigeons, there are very few as odd as when Joba Chamberlain was attacked by insects so annoying they could only be from Cleveland during the 2007 ALDS. Joba, who had moved through all 3 levels of the minor leagues during his inaugural season in 2007, showed even more promise in 2008. In 42 appearances between the rotation and bullpen, he pitched 100 1/3 innings to a 2.60 ERA and 118 strikeouts, but he would never be that good again. In 2009, the Yankees' World Championship season, Joba Chamberlain made 32 appearances, 31 of which were starts. He pitched 157 1/3 innings and had a 9-6 record with a 4.75 ERA. He followed that up with a 4.40 ERA in 73 relief appearances in 2010. The rules ended up being ineffective as injuries dominated his next 2 seasons, as he made just 49 appearances over 2 seasons. In 2013, his final season with the Yankees, his age 27 season, he pitched in 45 games and had a 4.93 ERA in 42 innings. He then moved on to Detroit, where he played for a few seasons before moving on to Kansas City, before finishing up his career in Cleveland in 2016. Joba electrified the Bronx, no question, but he never quite lived up to the hype that he had in his first couple of seasons. Perhaps that's the Yankees' fault for moving him back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen so often. He could never really get into a groove. But Joba Chamberlain will go down in Yankees history, not only for his odd moment with the midges, but for his electrifying debut and for selling many, many t-shirts. Ian Kennedy was another Yankees first-round draft pick, 21st overall in 2006, who dazzled his way through the minor league system. And in 2007, his first year of professional baseball, Kennedy was 12-3 with a sparkling 1.91 ERA, and he was earning comparisons to Hall of Famer Mike Mussina. Ian made 3 starts with the Yankees that year and was 1-0 with a 1.89 ERA over 19 innings. He too struggled in 2008 before being diagnosed with an aneurysm, kind of like the one that sidelined David Cone in 1996. Kennedy would work his way back and pitch 1 inning during the 2009 championship run before being traded to Arizona as part of the deal to acquire the Grandy Man, Curtis Granderson. Kennedy has gone on to have a very nice career, winning 21 games with Arizona in 2011 and signing a 5-year, $70 million contract with the Royals prior to the 2016 season. 2020 will be the final season of Kennedy's contract, but he's still going strong, pitching to a 3.41 ERA in 2019. No matter how it all worked out, it was fun watching these guys come up together, and it's been fun watching them succeed even after leaving the Yankees. Maybe someday we'll see them all back in pinstripes for Old Timers Day.